In January of 1947, John O'Reilly planted a church in the home of Goldie Haas at 65 Curtis Avenue in Newark, Ohio, chartered as Oneness Apostolic Church. The church was forged in the fire of adversity and sacrifice.
My name is Gary Smith. My grandmother, Goldie Haas, lived here in this house in 1947. She was opened up her home to Pastor Riley and the congregation at that time. In the beginning, this was the beginning of Christian Life Center, which was formerly Oneness Apostolic Church.
The church soon relocated to property that was purchased on the corner of North and Everett Avenue in Newark. The young congregation began a journey of growth as they prayed, seeking the face of God for revival and harvest. Their commitment to prayer produced many victories and carried them through seasons of disappointment. Pastor O'Reilly led the church for 8 years before retiring in 1955 due to poor health. On November 23, 1955, Charles B. Smith became the second pastor of Oneness Apostolic Church. During his tenure, the congregation continued to grow. In 1963, they completed a major remodel of their church facility, and in 1976, they began to search for new property for future expansion.
No wonder the psalmist said, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Because when we come into the house of the Lord, we come in to His presence. We come in singing. We come in giving thanks. We come in giving praise, and He meets us here.
In 1980, a name change took place as the church was renamed Christian Life Center and Academy. That same year, Christian Life Academy started. In 1981, the current property on Linville Road in Heath was purchased, and in 1984, the North and Everett property was sold. For 2 years, the church held services at the ALJC campgrounds.
It is a wonderful thing to be able just to steal away into the presence of the Lord.
In 1985, the church broke ground to build a new church facility. The building where the upper level foyer and lower level youth chapel are now located. In 1986, the building was completed as the church continued on its journey of growth. In 1988, Pastor Smith retired after serving 33 years as pastor.
That's something that he always instilled in us, was that missions was the heartbeat of God.
Yeah, Pastor Smith was my pastor for 33 years.
When we had revivals, the Advocate, we would always put an ad in the Advocate for the revival. When we changed the name of the church to Christian Life Center, I was so thankful because Oneness Apostolic turned out to be one less apostolic church instead of, and so Christian Life Center, we were excited about the new name change and feel like it really fit with, the new area that we were coming to.
Mm-hmm.
In June of 1988, Travis Kirk and family came to Heath, and on July 29, 1989, he was elected the third pastor of Christian Life Center. CLC continued to grow spiritually and numerically as it increased its impact in the cities of Heath and Newark.
Because you bought me through your death on Calvary. You bought me, you paid for me, and now I'll go where you want me to go. I'll do what you want me to do because you bought me through death.
CLC purchased more land, and in 1993 built a much-needed shelter house for outdoor activities. It was later named the Charlotte Hayes Shelter House. CLC continued to see souls saved and lives changed as the Lord added to the church. When the church outgrew its sanctuary, plans were drawn up in 1997 to build a new worship center. The new sanctuary and classroom facilities were completed in 1999, with the first service being held January 1st, 2000.
So Bishop was the first pastor I had ever known. And kind of beyond that, he was the first father figure I ever had. So Christian Life Center at that time kind of shaped me. We're going to teach faithfulness. We're going to teach just being resolute in what we believe and not wavering in it. We're going to be steadfast.
He's showed love and he's counseled. He's been a mentor to me, and I don't believe that I'd be the person that I am only through the pastor of Bishop Kirk.
In 2000, James Kirk was elected as the fourth pastor of CLC, and in 2006, he directed the building of the beautiful Family Life Center. In 2009, Travis Kirk transitioned to bishop after 20 years as pastor, and James Kirk became the senior pastor.
If you got it right, you should be affecting them, not them affecting you. When you go to school, somebody will say, I don't know what just happened, but I felt something walk by me. Oh, it was him, it was her, full of...
It was so impactful in every way. And the way that he dealt with firmness, but with so much love. Yeah. It genuinely showed us how to love people.
Yeah. He was giving and loving. I mean, you just walked away knowing that you were loved, and he was so giving.
You know, you hear about CLC being such a giving church, and I think it came a lot from him.
He just always made a point to shake your hand or give you a hug, or you just always felt welcome no matter what.
On October 10th, 2016, tragedy struck as Pastor James Kirk died unexpectedly. The congregation, though shattered by the loss, began to pray their way through the pain to seek God for his direction. By the strength and grace of God, CLC grew closer to each other through this tragedy, and in the spring of 2017 began an extensive remodel and expansion of the current sanctuary. On August 6, 2017, another chapter in the storied history of Christian Life Center began. Michael Enzi was elected as the fifth senior pastor in the history of CLC.
We're going to serve the Lord. I want to be able to stand before this congregation. Will you make that decision with me today? Will you make that declaration with me today that we're going to serve God no matter what happens, no matter what comes, no matter what challenges and struggles and circumstances, and no matter what obstacles stand in our way, and that we are committed, that we're going to go all the way with Him. We're going to serve God, and we're committed, and we're going to make it to heaven together. We're going to serve God together. We've got a lot to live for, look forward to, and live for. I want to go to heaven with my family. Christian Life Center, I'm asking you today, I'm wondering, will you accept this challenge with us? Would you make this declaration with us? Because I want to be able to say, as pastor of Christian Life Center, I want to be able to say, as for me and Christian Life Center, we will serve the Lord. I want to be able to say as your pastor.
In the spring of 2018, CLC launched the I Love My Church campaign and completed the remodel of the current sanctuary. Later that year, CLC dedicated the James L. Kirk Family Life Center.
We will serve the Lord. We will not serve lesser priorities. We will not serve anybody else or anything else, but we will serve the Lord.
In March of 2019, a daughter work was launched in Brownsville, and the following year transitioned to a new location. In 2021, CLC launched the I Love My City campaign, which has become a movement of generosity that is making a positive impact on their community.
I know he really invests in every person. He cares, and you really feel like he believes in you.
And I can only imagine that comes from a pastor who cares and deeply loves his people. So he saved my family. I just feel like someone like that is someone that I want to follow. I want to mimic the role that I see him portray every week, week in and week out.
The integrity, the loyalty, the faithfulness, the holiness, it's everything that we were looking for in a church.
People are watching you too, and you are a great example. And just by you living your life for the Lord, it's very encouraging, it's very inspiring. Just keep going, and our family loves and appreciates you very much.
CLC continues to increase numerically and spiritually, and is already making big plans for what God has in store next for this growing congregation. They are already dreaming about new ministries, expanded programs, additional daughter works, and the next building project in order to increase their capacity and fulfill their potential in pursuit of their vision. Christian Life Center is fully committed to their God-given purpose to make disciples by fulfilling their mission to know Jesus, grow in Jesus, and show the love of Jesus.
I believe that he's really we've kept that excitement, but we've also kept that same vision, and it's not just his vision, but the visions of the leaders before us. I really believe that he was able to get us on that path and lead us as a pastor into God's plan and even some of the visions that our four elders had.
CLC has always been and will always be a church where you are welcome, you belong, and you can become. The future is now. Let's roll.